Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3-day challenge wellness reboot. This is a free challenge. I'm so excited that you're here. I hope that you guys walk away from this challenge with some new tactics and a new viewpoint on why you may think the things that you do and why maybe you haven't been able to progress in your fitness goals, because that's what we're going to talk about. I've found that over the years that I've been a coach, that really being successful with weight loss and mindset and just achieving your goals in general, aside from weight loss, is behavior and mindset, because so long in the industry I would see people, and you would always see those people, they were just always successful no matter what. I always would say that they had a certain personality type, like the people who they would like to wake up, they would just go and do it, they weren't emotionally attached to food or working out, like even if they felt like crap, almost like a military mindset, they just get up and go and do it. And for a while I thought it was just those kind of people that were successful, and I was like, well, other people, it's just not in their way of doing things, or they have to kind of relearn their personality or something. And that's not the case. It's just that different personalities work differently. And I'm not really military minded. I'm definitely more emotionally attached to food. I have my bad days. I am a highly sensitive person, so I tend to be a bit more emotional, and I've worked through those things. And again, it comes to how we frame our mindset around how we approach working out, how we approach nutrition, just how we approach healthy habits in general. And I think if we reframe that, you're going to be successful. And that's what we're gonna go over in this challenge. So, Day 1, this is the Wellness Reboot. I'm in the workbook right now. You should have a link to that you can download and keep yourself. But we're going to talk about avoiding self-sabotage, because that's one of the big behavioral things that we do that might be kind of indirect, like we don't realize that we're doing it, but we do it. So I'm going to go over 10 ways that we kind of self-sabotage ourselves, but also ways that we can overcome it, okay? All right, so the first thing that we have is not knowing your triggers. Here is how it's holding you back. If you don't know what your triggers are, it's easy to fall back into old habits. This is 100% true. This goes back to one of my main core things that I teach a lot of people and that I've learned myself, is to really discover yourself, know yourself. I actually just did a podcast on this, on the Tea with Tina podcast, about self-discovery and being more in tune with your body. Oftentimes we're just so busy and we're so go throughout the day, so consumed with stress, worry, caught up in our lives, getting the kids to sports or school or whatever it may be, that we don't stop to think about how we're feeling or how our body's responding, or that we haven't eaten all day, or we didn't drink water today, or our sleep has been garbage for the past couple weeks. And then we just wonder why we feel like crap, right? So I think knowing ourselves and learning to know our habits, and when we eat X food, how does that make us feel? Or when I do X movement, how does that make me feel? Just starting there will be one of the things in helping of knowing your triggers. This is a big thing that I do in my coaching with my online clients, especially in the nutrition realm, is we tend to tackle triggers first. Why are you late night snacking? Why do you feel the need to binge eat? And we really nip it at the source, and I've seen fantastic results with that. So again, going back to the solution, a more specific solution for this, tied more so to nutrition, because I feel that triggers are more tied to nutrition than working out, but it can be working out as well, is keep a food journal so you can identify patterns in your eating and figure out what triggers unhealthy eating behaviors. So yes, kind of what we do in my coaching. All right, number 2 is not tracking your food intake or progress, okay? Now, I don't want you to immediately think, okay, no, this isn't for me, because tracking food or progress in general isn't necessarily weighing in every single day, logging every single thing you eat, bringing a food scale with you everywhere. No. The fitness industry tends to do things black and white. It's all or nothing. It's either we bring the food scale with us when we go out to eat, or we don't do anything at all, right? Well, you can be in between. So again, this goes back to knowing yourself and what kind of person are you? If you're somebody who does like numbers and is very sciencey and analytically maybe you want to track the macros. Maybe tracking macros is fun for you. Maybe doing the portion control is fun for you. Maybe you do not like dealing with numbers and that just overwhelms you. So you can keep a food diary. That's what I have my clients do is if they don't want to track food, they'll keep a food photo diary. We can kind of analyze portion sizes that way. Maybe you write down the food and you kind of estimate your portions. Maybe you even take a more indirect approach and look at what you're currently eating and we say, how can we make this a little bit better? I have a couple teachings on this in my client academy about it, but we talk about, let's say you have a muffin from Starbucks with a Frappuccino and I guess we could just go with that. A Frappuccino, like a sugary Frappuccino with whipped cream, and you have a muffin. And that's kind of like your go-to breakfast every morning. Well, how can we make this a little bit better? We don't have to immediately stop going out to eat and do egg whites and black coffee, right? Maybe you just opt for 1 or 2 sugars with cream instead of 3, 4, 5, no whipped cream or anything like that. So we make it more of a normal coffee that's sweetened. And maybe for the muffin, we switch to a whole grain option instead of the sugary version, or maybe we get some oatmeal with fruit. What's something that's a little bit more nutritious? And then from there, maybe we can take a step to doing more home cooked meals, but you don't want to eliminate the eating out entirely because it's something that you enjoy, right? But you're still going for those healthier options when you do go out to eat. So there is that option as well. You have a sliding scale, and I've talked about it before on this page about how you can go from barely tracking something to really being tedious. And of course, the more tedious you are with things and the more specific you are, you're gonna get better results. You're gonna get quicker results because I always say tracking food is a tool. It tells you what you're consuming. It gives you numbers. It gives you information. So it's just better information. It might tell you if you're low on protein or you're overeating calories or undereating calories. But the more kind of loose you get with it, I would expect not as fast results. So if your goal is more, lifestyle healthy changes and not necessarily a specific weight loss goal or a specific progress goal, then that's okay. But that's why bodybuilders who have a very specific body composition goal tend to be more strict with their tracking because it is more definite and exact. Okay. Number 3, focusing too much on the scale. Oh, if you've been here for a while, this is something that I preach, right? Here's how it's holding you back. Overemphasizing weight loss on the scale. And I use weight loss because I feel a lot of people here probably want some form of weight loss or fat loss or body recomposition. You want less fat and maybe a little bit more muscle to have a toned look to you. But overemphasizing weight loss on the scale can lead to feelings of discouragement and failure because weight is so not definite. If you were to weigh yourself daily, because this is what I recommend that you either weigh yourself once a month where it's far enough apart that when you do have fluctuations, you'll truly be able to see if you have lost or if there is a change in the scale, or you weigh yourself daily. Because if you weigh yourself on Monday and maybe it was a nice low weigh-in, you did great all weekend, you had no water retention, not on your period or whatever, and then you weigh yourself Thursday and you're about to get your period and you had a salty meal the night before, it could look like you gained 4 pounds. But what you didn't see in between the other days was there was a couple high days, a couple low days, and if you averaged it out, you'd be okay. That's why I don't like, cherry picking days to weigh in, even once a week. I'd say once a month for sure. Like I said, gives you enough time. Or if you can mentally handle it, weighing every day. Because when you weigh every day, you're going to see this zigzag. And hopefully, if you're doing it right, the trend will eventually go down. But you will see fluctuations, sometimes up to 10 pounds, depending on what's going on. Hormones, holding water, stress, what you ate, what time of day you're weighing yourself. There's a whole big thing to it. And that's why just the scale sucks. It's very if you don't have a good relationship with the scale and you know it's going to mentally mess with you, I'd stray away from that, and I'd focus on other forms of progress, which it says is a solution here. Focusing on how you feel, how's your energy been, are you performing better in the gym? And then also something important to note is sometimes in our weight loss journeys, if our goal is weight loss or fat loss, the scale might not necessarily change, because if we're strength training, we might be building some muscle but losing fat, but the scale is going to stay the same, or we're holding on to water in that transition period and we're not going to see significant change. I've seen people that they have like a pound or two change in their weight and they're down inches everywhere. Their clothes fit totally differently. They're way stronger in the gym. It's because they've lost fat and gained muscle. I've seen that time and time again. So another reason that the scale is pretty unpredictable. So it's cool if you want to, track your weight and use the scale, but I wouldn't use it as my main and only tracker. I would use measurements, progress photos, again, how we feel, performance goals. There's a lot of great things to focus on: mood, mental health, aside from a number on the scale, right? All right, number 4, not taking time for yourself. Here's how it's holding you back. Skipping out on self-care can lead to burnout and decreased motivation levels. This is so true, and I am a big advocate of this. When we are on our fitness journeys, we might just kind of grind it out, right? We are working out every single day. We're doing the same workouts because that's what we have to do. We're eating the same bland meals, and we don't really do anything to kind of spice it up. Obviously, self-care can be other things, like maybe doing a yoga class or even taking a break a couple days from your workout routine. But in the fitness realm of things, I think not being afraid of variety or to listen to your body when it's time to switch things up, or even with food, experimenting with something and, just because it's not whole, perfect, organic, like egg whites and veggies, like we can kind of branch out a little bit, or learning to treat ourselves with, a meal out or a little dessert or something like that, I think can make a big difference in our mindset, and we will learn not to hate our health and fitness goals this way. And then some of the solutions that I wrote down here is take time to do the things that make you feel good, right? So whether it's reading a book, taking a bath, going for a walk, spending time with friends, this is important too. Make sure you don't get caught up in the grind, and you do, take some time from yourself, not saying like, oh my God, I have to work out all the time. I have to say no to this social outing. Not good. Unless you're doing like a bodybuilding competition, something that's very extreme, or you're in the Olympics, you really usually don't need to do that. Like I said, taking a bath, doing things you like, going out in nature, all these things can be great to just keep you motivated, rejuvenated, and prevent burnout. And again, that goes back to listening to our bodies too. You'll see that as a reoccurring theme. 5, not getting enough sleep. Okay, so lack of sleep can lead to cravings for unhealthy foods and decreased motivation levels. Sleep is so important. I don't care those people who say I'll sleep when I'm dead, or I get 4 hours and I'm fine. You're lying. Sleep is so crucial. There's just so many crucial bodily functions that happen while we're sleeping. It's our body's time to repair. It's our body's time to scrub away any toxins that we accumulate through the day. It just helps repair things, organize things. I always say it defrags. Like, you ever see with your computer how when you go to defrag it, there's all these different jumbled up colors, and when you defrag it, it like organizes them into different colors. We have like blue, green, red, whatever, and it all organizes it, right? That is what I picture happens to my brain when I'm sleeping. It just defrags everything. It also repairs our muscles from working out, so they build back better, they build back more tone, they build back stronger. You get that nice definition that you're looking for. We feel better, we feel happier, we're more clear. So sleep is important. And aside from the amount of sleep, we also got to make sure we're getting quality sleep. So 7 to 9 hours is the sweet spot. Everybody's a little bit different. I tend to be a sloth. I'm on the 9+ hour spectrum. Some people can get away with 7. But it's important that you get quality sleep, because I do see people that they're like, well, I'm in bed for, 8 hours a night, but I'm tossing and turning, or my mind is racing. And that's something I feel, again, that kind of goes a little bit deeper. It could be stress related. It could be because we're not taking enough time to ourselves, so our brain doesn't have time to sort itself out or think through things. So that's something to dive a bit deeper into if that is an issue for you. All right, so number 6, not planning ahead. Okay, this one's good. Without a plan for meals and snacks, there's Banks if you see him pop into the frame. Without a plan for meals and snacks, it's easy to make unhealthy choices when hunger strikes. And really, in general, not having a plan, you feel a little bit more chaotic. And I preach this a lot. I say that the night before, I tend to visualize my day. Especially if I have a busy day, like I will go through and I'll look at my Google Calendar or written planner because I'm crazy and I do both. But I'll be like, okay, I have a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. So I'm going to wake up and eat this breakfast. I'm going to go to the gym right after the doctor's appointment. Then I'm going to work. Then I'm going to come home. I'm going to cook dinner, blah, blah, blah. So I visualize myself going successfully through all of my tasks. And I think that alone helps create a little bit less chaos in my everyday. So, this is going to look a little bit different for everybody, but think about your day. And again, it goes back to kind of your preferences in your health and fitness journey and see how that's going to work for you. Are you going to squeeze your workouts in while your kid's at soccer practice? Maybe you're doing laps around the field if the weather's nice while he's practicing or she's practicing. Are you going to plan your grocery list while they're at practice? How are you meal prepping? Are you going to get a meal prep service? Are you going to pre-chop some meals, like your veggies and things like that, or marinate something, throw something in the crock pot in the early morning before you leave for work so it's ready when you get home? There's a lot of different things that you could do, and this is very individualized, and this comes down to you as a person, of what you can do. But definitely planning ahead, meal prepping, workouts, scheduling them so you can fit them in just like a doctor's appointment, planning your recovery, planning when you're going out to eat, and you might eat off of your program and your diet, how you're going to do that where you don't go overboard. There's a lot of things to do, and it sounds overwhelming, but I promise you, if you do it, ahead of time and you get into a routine, you'll start to notice patterns, and it doesn't require as much work. Like anything, once you put in the reps, it's not so bad. It's so worth it in the beginning, so do the investment, okay? Then we have 7, not being aware of portion sizes. This is a big one. So underestimating portion sizes may lead to overeating and difficulty losing weight. I do see this a lot. So this kind of goes back to tracking our food. If you are kind of generically tracking and, maybe you're just taking photos, maybe you're kind of eyeballing your portions and you're still not seeing progress and you've been very consistent, I would get a little bit more strict. Actually weigh out your food, get a food scale. They're pretty cheap. They're like $10 on Amazon. If it's rice or something, just get a measuring cup and it's like, hey, a cup of rice. Get that cup and physically measure it. Don't eyeball it. Some things are easy. This is not something you should probably be eating in your diet regularly, but like Oreos, for instance, they're going to say 2 Oreos is a serving size. That, you obviously don't have to measure that out. But things that are a little bit trickier, like bananas, weighing different bananas, that could be plus or minus 50 calories, and that adds up. Olive oil, if you use a tablespoon of olive oil, it's 120 calories. So are you including that when you're cooking your meals, or are you just omitting that completely? There's different things that add up throughout the day. So just be more aware of your portion sizes, what you're eating, how much you're eating, because it could be adding up, and that could be why you're not losing weight also. All right, guys, we're on to our last 3. So thank you for tuning in this long. I hope you're learning something. Number 8 is skipping meals. Okay, so kind of the opposite of the last one, right? We were saying that maybe our portions were too big, but this is another big issue that I see. When we feel like skipping meals is going to make us lose weight. Because we're eating less, but really in the long run, it does more harm than help. So going too long without food can lead to unhealthy cravings, overeating at the next meal, and difficulty losing weight. So the solution to this would be to eat regularly throughout the day to keep hunger levels in check and energy levels up. And I even do this in the morning. I've woken up in the morning and not felt hungry. This is a huge one. A lot of people won't eat in the morning. I've found that people who aren't hungry in the morning tend to overeat at night. So maybe you had a big dinner, maybe you were snacking late at night leading up to bed, maybe you eat dinner at 5 and then it's 8 or 9 o'clock and you find yourself hungry, so you eat and then you wake up and you're not hungry. Well, one, if we nip the late night cravings and snacking in the butt, that will help a little bit. And 2, even if you're not hungry in the morning, start small. Start with a shake, start with some berries, just something to get something into your stomach to get the metabolism going. Yogurt, something light, and kind of build upon it because your body will build a tolerance to it and you'll be able to push a little bit more food. And you'll find that you have more energy. You probably have less cravings when it comes to lunchtime or snacking. You find that you won't eat as big of portions because you're staying satisfied throughout the day. So that is really important. And again, this is something individualized. You'll see that again. That's kind of the difference between learning these tools and knowing if you need the help of a coach one-on-one, right? Because everybody's like, well, I can do it on my own. And absolutely, there's all the resources out here for you to do it by yourself. I'm a big advocate of doing that. But some of these things, as you can see what we're talking about, are very individualized and they can get pretty deep and it can just be exhausting to try to tackle it on your own and not see it from an outside perspective. So if you feel like you're somebody who does struggle with a deeper meaning to things and maybe you are tackling a root cause for your eating but you're not really sure what it is, or no matter what you do you just can't seem to get consistent with your routines and you just need to figure it out but you can't, that is when I'd probably recommend that you look into one-on-one custom coaching, okay? Again, that is something that I offer, but just so you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed and maybe this isn't enough for you and you feel like you can't do it on your own, that's when I would recommend this. But by all means, this information is definitely enough for you to start tackling on your own, for you to start implementing these things on your own for sure. And I hope that you do, okay? So last 2, 9, surrounding yourself with temptation. So this is a big one too. Keeping unhealthy food in your home or workplace can lead to cravings and difficulty sticking to your weight loss goals. It's so true. I, over the years, have known my triggers. Certain desserts, like baking desserts, if I have a bulk dessert, I'm going to eat it like every night, no matter what. So I just don't really make them. If I do make something sweet, it's going to be a healthier alternative, like my healthy banana bread recipe. Occasionally I'll make desserts, like a little bit more bad desserts for holidays or special events. And even then, I'll just eat 1 or 2 servings and I'll force my husband to eat the rest of it. He doesn't gain weight. He's lucky. Y'all probably know that from your husbands, right? They can eat whatever they want. But that's what I'll do. I won't keep like Oreos, chips, things where I know I'm going to endlessly snack. I keep them out of sight, out of mind, not even in the house. If I do stuff, I make sure to get smaller portions, like I said, or a healthier alternative that kind of satisfies my craving, right? So, and again, like they said, remove tempting items from your environment or find healthier alternatives. And then the last one is being too hard on yourself. This one I actually see a lot more than you think. If you're too hard on yourself for making a mistake, it can lead to feelings of shame and guilt, which can derail your progress. As somebody who's a perfectionist, I've definitely went through this. You kind of have a good day, a good streak, you're doing great all week, and then, you have a bad day. And then you beat yourself up about it and you're like, screw this, I'm not doing it anymore because I already failed. You viewed that one slip up as a fail. And that's the equivalent of like, if you have a flat tire, you go and slash the other 3, right? You don't have to slash the other 3 tires. You can just repair the flat tire. So I want you to view your mistakes like that. It can suck when we make a mistake. It can suck when we're doing so good and we slip up. But it's just one moment out of this long journey. You have to dust yourself off. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you hate yourself, but you have to keep going and it gets better. You just hop right back on track. We don't have to overcompensate with extra cardio. We don't have to do a super strict diet. Simply dust yourself off. Go back into your routine like nothing happened. I promise it'll be better. And, like it says here, accept mistakes as part of the process. That one slip up won't ruin your progress. Be gentle and forgiving. And this goes if you go on a streak. Maybe you did it for a whole week, 2 weeks. Maybe you fell off the wagon. I don't care how long you fall off the wagon. As long as you decide to stand up and start again, you'll be okay. Okay, so those are the 10 big things I see that you do to self-sabotage. Hopefully I gave you some solutions that can help you out. If you are listening in the Facebook group, I want you to comment below which one of these you feel like you struggle with the most, and based off what we chatted about in this video, what you would like to do to change that. You know, using the solution and kind of your own personal lifestyle goals, how are you going to change that self-sabotaging goal, okay? Just a couple other things in this workbook. We have 30 powerful, healthy eating affirmations, so you can kind of go through those. Those are things that you could talk to yourself when you're having a bad day. Affirmations have been shown if you just speak it or read it or post some of these somewhere, it can really help change your mindset into more of a positive thinking mindset. And then I also gave you a daily wellness routine journal. Sorry if you hear Binks meowing in the background. He's being bad. But you can print this out. If you have a digital iPad, I have no idea how that works, but you can probably do this digitally too. But you can track things like how many hours of sleep you got, rate your energy level, what workouts did you do, how was your mood today. I love the little smiley faces. You can actually track your meals, water, steps, all kinds of stuff. So I enjoy that too. I think hopefully that'll help you out if you're like a pen and paper kind of organized person, okay? But other than that, that's gonna wrap up day 1, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 2. Bye.